So like we said the past weekend here was a move weekend. So we are in a whole new site. It was just long enough, easy to back in, no problems at all, but it's just long enough, kind of just wide enough. We kind of have this little stair step thing just outside of the stairs, which is kind of a problem for Creature's ramp. So ramp is worthless for the next 2 weeks, but so far it seems nice. So we finally get a nice day. It's 60 degrees when you wake up. It's gonna be 80 today, and we're gonna go in a cave. It's President's Day, so Teresa's got the day off, so we thought we'd check out Carlsbad. Think it might be a little less busy today than like on a weekend, but we're gonna give it a try and check it out.
Here.
We're at the Bat Cave.
Stop it, wind.
Stop it, wind. So we're gonna go in the natural entrance, and our plan is to come out the actual elevator. That way it's not as strenuous, I guess, and
we'll see.
To save a little bit of time.
Some people have recommended taking the elevator down too.
Yeah, but we're gonna try it out.
Okay, you wanna take
So there's the main entrance with the switchbacks. The switchbacks look a lot bigger.
I thought they were
really
like
in pictures. Yeah, they don't look that bad.
I didn't realize there was a
cool,
fence. Though. In pictures it looks like this, like super narrow.
This cave is radioactive. So there we go. There's the switchbacks. All right, so we're going in the natural entrance. This is where the bats come out at nighttime, apparently. Which I want to find out more information about, because we should come back one night and see them. And
oh, excuse me. Sorry.
So anyways, we're going down in the natural entrance, and then we're going to come back up the elevator probably. But oh wow, yeah, that's pretty cool looking when you look down. So the camera's having a hard time focus. It's kind of dark, but anyways, we're in the cave. We just kind of finished the switchback areas, going through the kind of the main entrance. Mm-hmm. Somebody's already fallen asleep.
It's very relaxing to her being in the cave.
Yeah.
She fell asleep at Mammoth Caves too.
Yeah. And anyways, we're a little warm too. Long sleeve t-shirt would be perfect.
Yeah.
Sweatshirts are a little too warm, but yeah. So we'll see how the rest.
I'm stabbed by all Blythe's ranger badges right now. I think we need to take the ranger vest off before she's out cold. But anyway, the switchback down was definitely worth it. I would, if you're able to take that part down, take it down. It's really cool.
Yeah. All right, so we're at an area called the Boneyard. So, and it actually kind of looks like bones. It's pretty cool. And by the way, there were more switchbacks.
We
were
not done
yet. towards the light. Don't go towards the light.
To follow in the cave. Excellent. So do you remember one of the rules you had to follow?
What were you not allowed to do in there?
This way, and then you can branch down.
Couldn't touch, right? Don't touch.
Very heavily impacted.
Yeah.
Don't touch. Excellent. Yeah.
Don't-
It'll damage the cave. It will look pretty for other people. I see. We smelled Batman and heard Batman in the cave.
Yeah, that was a mission to find Batman in there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Blythe. I think you've done plenty of work to get you sworn in as a junior ranger. Just give me a moment here. Now, before we get you your badge, there is one more very important thing we have to do. We have to take the junior ranger pledge.
Put your hand up.
So could you raise your right hand for me? Or both of them, that works too? All right.
Get ready.
I know a little bit
And
about
repeat
it. I have
after
not
me.
done it
I
myself, but
promise.
A lot of my coworkers say
promise.
that it is
Yes.
a nice romantic place to go.
Yes,
And it is
one will be enough.
Junior.
As a matter of fact,
As a junior,
Josh was on this line.
or as a junior park ranger.
To get to his office. He's making his way up there.
Okay.
He said he's
All right. How
Do
about
you
I can-
promise? Do you promise? You promise.
All right.
Thank you so
I
much.
promise to learn.
Do you promise to learn?
Excellent. I promise to explore
Explore. Good job.
and protect.
And can you say protect
My national park.
my national parks? You say that? My parks? You're doing better than last time. Also. Usually
All
she
right.
says no.
Well, nicely done. Do you want to give me a high five?
High five
Maybe?
it? Oh.
Maybe?
That's
Yeah.
Good
Nicely done.
job.
And there's your badge.
Wow, look at
Nice work.
Some tips for Carlsbad Caverns. Some things we should have probably known and paid attention to and that kind of stuff. First of all is the temperatures. You read online, it's 56 degrees in there. So you think it's, you know, it's not cold, not even really chilly, but you're like, maybe I'll bring a sweatshirt or whatever. It's 56 degrees, but 90% humidity, which is kind of rare for a cave. Usually they're kind of like cool and kind of more, I guess, damp, which is probably similar to a humid, but it's just, it was very, it felt a lot warmer in there than 56 degrees. So make sure to dress a couple layers, that kind of a deal, just so you can be comfortable. Like long sleeve t-shirt, you're probably perfect in, or just throw a light sweatshirt on, t-shirt underneath. You're probably going to lose a sweatshirt. There's a couple ways you can go down into the cave too. There's the original entrance to the cave, which is basically, it looks like a big old mouth, and it's switchbacks going back and forth down through. And then there's also an elevator. Obviously one is easier than the other. Here's the thing, going through the original entrance is actually really cool, and it's a very, very cool experience. So what we did, and this is what I suggest, is go down through the original entrance and then take the elevator back up. If you do that, you're not climbing up all these switchbacks, because it's like 70 stories or something like that. It's a ridiculous amount of distance, like up and down. Really not ridiculous, but it's a good distance. But when you're going down, it's not that bad. I mean, if you've got like knee issues or something, you're going to be feeling it. I was feeling it a little bit in my knee, and I don't really have real issues with it. But anyways, so that's what I suggest. Go down the main entrance and then take the elevator back up. You can, if you've got disabilities, even if you're in a wheelchair, you can take the elevator down and back up, and you can see a lot of the cave still. There's like a big, most of the path throughout all the cave it's paved. So it's all, very easy to kind of get around and go through. So you can definitely still see a good amount of the cave. It's worth going to, even if you can't really walk that well, it's worth going to. You still see a lot of the cave, and then you just hop in the elevator and go back up. Another cool thing is when you take that elevator down, right by the elevator, there's a little snack bar with some drinks, and I think they had like a couple sandwiches and chips and stuff.
And then they also have bathrooms right there too. So you've got bathrooms upstairs and bathrooms downstairs in the cave. But basically how the cave is set up is you have the elevator, you've got like the big room that's kind of around the elevator area almost. And then you've got like the entrance that goes in and out. But it's definitely, so if you skip the entrance and just take the elevator up and down, you're gonna miss a good portion of the cave. But it's definitely worth seeing. But again, if you can't do it, still go to Carlsbad and just take the elevator up and down. It's just like walking around on a little path. It's pretty smooth, not really any hills or anything in there for the, the area that's really handicapped accessible. And then really the only portion that's not is that entrance, that main entrance going out. Last thing I want to talk about Carlsbad is the kennels. They do have kennels there. So again, if you're stopping, like kind of going through, or if you have a dog like us, can't be left alone, you can definitely take her there. They've got kennels. They're $10 for the day. Just to warn you, they're nothing fancy. I mean, they're kennels. They're like cages. Bring a blanket or something for the dog to lay on, because they're just like, it's not like open wire, but it's got like kind of a grate at the bottom-ish kind of stuff. They do give them water. They kind of, they won't tell you they check on them, but they'll kind of go in and out a little bit here and there. But pretty much you come in, you ring the doorbell for the kennel, somebody will grab you, you can put your dog in there, they'll give you a slip. You pay for it anytime during the day. You don't have to pay for it right away or anything like that. And you just pay for it in the gift shop. And then when you're done, you can grab your dog out of the kennel and head out. So it's definitely, it's easier than taking them anywhere, and all you need is rabies paperwork. So you don't have to like have 15,000 other shots and records, which is kind of our problem, because our dog had cancer. So all we do is give her rabies paperwork or rabies shots. Now we don't give her anything else like distemper or anything like that. Which if you take a dog to board them at like an actual boarding place, a lot of times they require all that stuff. So they do require only rabies, but they do need the paper, not the tag on the collar. They do need the actual paper, which if you're camping and stuff, most likely the campsite needed that as well. Most places won't accept the tag. They need the paper. So definitely make sure you bring that. So that's about it for Carlsbad. If you have any questions, comments, or whatever, make sure to put them below. Or if there's something we horribly missed, which I'm sure there was, tell us about it below, and we'll probably see it next time we come through, or anybody watching this can know about it as well.
So we went to Carlsbad Caverns yesterday, and today it's kind of like a cloudy, cruddy day. So we are getting caught up on our laundry. So we're getting caught up on laundry, just some kind of house maintenance stuff. Try to pick up and organize a little bit today, and then probably like play at the playground a little bit. Kind of take a relaxing day.
I did it! One more time? Okay.
This is what happens when you're a nerd and you follow Fitbits.
Gotta get my 250 per hour. Come on.
A pancake.
Yeah, Blythe ate a pancake.
Pancake. So it's Saturday.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it's not 7 o'clock.
No, Blythe always says it's 7 o'clock. But anyways, it's Saturday, and we are going to the Guadalupe Mountains National Park. Which is not far from Carlsbad, so we're gonna go check it out. It's like an hour drive, but we figured we might as well. We're here, we're close enough.
And it's another national park, so.
Yep. So we're gonna check that out. On the way there, we went to the Trinity Hotel, which they have a restaurant. And Saturdays, they do a country fried steak special. Very good. Everything was good, really.
I had the Monte Cristo. That was so good.
Yeah.
And Blythe's pancake came out with a little smiley face on it.
Which we're probably gonna end up going back for like dinner at some point, because somebody wants to do a wine tasting
They
there.
have free wine tastings from the winery that doesn't open until after we leave. So
Yeah.
apparently they own that winery too. So
we'll probably check that out at some point.
yeah, it's a nice little restaurant.
But if you're looking for good breakfast, try
we
the
made
Trinity
it seem
Hotel.
like we were going to the hotel, but it is a restaurant downstairs in the
Yeah.
hotel, and it's an old.
It's the oldest
building in Carlsbad.
Mm-hmm.
It was built in the 1800s.
As a bank, the first national bank
And they
is
have
what it was.
2 vaults.
But what
Room
we have
203 3, I think he said, has the second vault, which is upstairs, but the vault in the lobby, you can actually go in and see they turn it into a humidor. It's cool.
Yep.
Want to give him some ears? Little ears? Good job!
Remember, it's a mouse, okay?
Now, what it says here, where does your animal live? Where does it live?
In the tank.
In the what?
In the dirt.
In the dirt. And what does it eat?
Eat grass.
It eats grass, okay. And does it have any enemies? Does anybody want to eat the mouse? Who?
I made that.
Do you think that the bobcat wants to eat the mouse?
Bobtail.
Bobcats.
Bobtail.
And what does the animal do to live in the desert?
Out.
Are you going to school?
You gonna learn?
Why don't you sit down? You want to sit at the desk?
No people in here.
There's no people in here.
So we're in the schoolhouse. It was also used as a barn at one point, that kind of stuff too, and also a bunk room. But when the schoolhouse was here, they put 8 children through the schoolhouse, local children, and they hired a teacher for $30 a month, and they got room and board and a horse. I think that's more than what I made when you really add it all up. 3 families lived here and ranched here throughout the years that it was a ranch house before it became a national park. The reason why it was built here, for the main reason, was there's a natural spring that comes up and basically fed them with water, which is right behind me, and you can see it cutting down, which is pretty neat. So we're taking a couple quick little hikes while we're here today. Nothing crazy or anything cool. This is definitely a park I'd like to come back to though, I think. It's just, I mean, I'd love to hike El Capitan. And then there's a couple other hikes that looked really cool too that I'd love to do. It's just, we don't have time to do it today. They do have a campground here too. It is dry camping only, but they do have a campground. So you could come here for a few days, you know, run off your tanks and stuff. It's pretty cool though, because it's all kind of on the line of these mountains, and then El Capitan is on the top there. So definitely a cool park so far. All right, so we're walking. It's a spring trail. It's just like a paved trail, and it ends up at like a little pond basically. So it's a little windy. Hopefully this will be, you know, the audio will be okay. But this is the Pinery Station, which is part of basically the first connection from east to west. There was a mail route that went from St. Louis to San Francisco, and this was one of the stations along the way where they could stop. It kind of came before the Pony Express and all that kind of stuff. So it was a very, very early U.S. mail route. Kind of cool. This wall is all that's left of the Pinery Station.
Can we do raise your hand and repeat after me, okay? I promise
I promise.
to
So the
protect
goal is this depression area
wild-
up here.
all the
It's a
animals
high
in the
meadow,
national
or
parks.
high mountain
I
meadow,
promise to
kind of a sky
protect. Can you
island
say
with
that?
ponderosa pine and
Right.
You got the hand
I
up.
promise. Say I promise. No. Okay. I promise.
Be a windy hike tomorrow.
Definitely.
Can you at least give me a high five? Could you give me a high five?
And say, I promise. No.
There we go.
Jeez.
I'll give you one. You at least did the book. So.
The Guadalupe Mountains National Park. I always want to say Guadalupe National Park. Guadalupe Mountains National Park was very cool to see. There's a lot to see there too. So you could kind of do a quick day trip like we did, or you could spend quite a bit of time there. They've got sand dunes, kind of like White Sands, but it's about an hour away from the visitor center. So we skipped that because it was an hour in the opposite direction too. We were staying by Carlsbad, so we drove down to see that national park as well because it's not far. So if you're staying near Carlsbad, definitely take a trip down to here. There's lots and lots of trails to do there. Some very cool ones too. A lot of them are more like half day, doing almost all day trail. There's some quick ones to do. They're not as scenic, obviously, because they're just kind of paths around. But if you're just staying for, a couple hours like we did, there's a ranch house that's really cool to see, and it's got like a little schoolhouse next to it and a spring coming up out of the ground right next to it. There's a trail behind that takes you kind of to another, kind of where the spring ends, I guess, like a little pond. And then there's also a trail that's really nice at the end of the visitor center that you saw previously in the video, where basically it was kind of like an old post office, I guess is what you'd call it. It's an old building. It's really just a wall that's left at the end of the trail. And it was part of like a post office line that went from, I think it was St. Louis to San Francisco. So it was kind of like some history there, even though the trail was just like it was a walk in the park, literally. But it was just, a flat paved trail. So we didn't do any like real hiking there, unfortunately. I really wanted to because there's a couple really cool hikes there. Definitely worth checking out. I did want to mention their campground too. We drove through their campground quick. I didn't even take any pictures because it wasn't really worth it. It was basically like a Cracker Barrel parking lot. That's really all it was. There were some like little pull-through spots, a couple little like kind of back-end spots, and they weren't even really spots. It's all dry camping, and there's no dump station. So I wouldn't mind dry camping if there was at least a dump station nearby. So basically their campground is like for an overnight kind of a thing. It's more overnight parking than anything else. But if you need overnight parking, it's there. But I wouldn't really call it a campground per se. Same thing, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below so we can just, people can discuss it and stuff. If you've done some of those cool hikes there, let me know. Sorry about the car videos in this. It's windier than hell outside right now. And the turtler's going crazy inside, so I didn't really have a good spot to film. So we're just kind of doing quick car videos for some wrap-ups. So on the way home from the Guadalupe Mountains National Park, actually it happened on the way there. I was passing a tractor trailer. It was a tanker. The road's 75, he was going 65. I was just cruising behind him. I wasn't even planning to pass, and he just kind of got over a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll pass him. So I go by him, and a big stone comes up and hits the windshield, and I'm looking at the windshield. I'm like, oh, there's nothing. Whew. And it hit hard, so I was like, there's got to be something, and I'm looking all around. There's nothing there, and I look over, and Teresa's just, it's bad. So then I got worried. I'm like, what do you mean? I don't see anything. It's bad. It's bad. It was a good chip, probably like almost the size of a dime. And I was like, oh crap. And there's no stores around, so I can't go get like a chip repair kit. So I'm like, please don't crack and spider web like throughout the windshield. And so we went to the park, went back on the way back through Carlsbad. I stopped at Walmart, got a chip repair kit, and I happened to get the last one, so I was lucky. Reminds me of Virginia.
We need to do this about once a year in Virginia, right?
Yep. I mean, it was a big one, so I kind of don't have a lot of trust in it. But so far it's holding up. It's only been like, really a day and a half. But still, at least it's kind of, it's better than nothing. And hopefully it'll keep the windshield from cracking or anything like that, so we can get a little more life out of the windshield. So then we went to a brewery. The brewery was really good. The pizza was good, which is really one of the first good pizzas we had. We had some decent pizza in Cloudcroft. This definitely was better than that at the brewery. They had actually most of their beers that I tried I really liked. They had a couple cream ales, so I was excited. I'm a cream ale fan. Then they had a few IPAs and everything. You know, they had a little bit of everything. They had extra stuff too. It wasn't just pizza. Like the place in Cloudcroft, it was just pizza. That was all you had. They had salads. Their salad was really good. We got a soft pretzel with cheese. That was good. So I mean, they've got some options there. We left the pizza place, heading home. Creature is sitting in the middle here and just she goes to turn around and we just hear Creature got sick. Not from this way. So we pulled over immediately. There was kind of a place in town you can kind of pull over. They had garbage cans in front of it. We usually put a towel, like you can see the blanket back here. We usually have like a towel on the seat, that kind of stuff. We just threw it out. We just put it right in the garbage can. It was bad. She got it still all over the back of the seat. So we stopped at Albertsons in Carlsbad because Teresa was feeling ill after she started to like clean it up. I just kind of got Creature out to kind of finish and then tried to clean up Creature. And so she went in, we got some stuff to clean the seat, and we cleaned the seat. Everything seemed to come out, but it was definitely not like how we wanted to like end the night, let alone really even end this video, but end the night talking about a dog getting sick in the back of the truck. But she seemed to be feeling a little bit better today. We'll see how it goes. We're hoping it's not another round of antibiotics and everything. She's been on a couple since we've left. Just her stomach's been off here and there. Pretty much we can't give her any table scraps anymore. She used to have an iron stomach. Now you give her a piece of bacon this big and it just doesn't work for her. So we got to be better about that. And like I said, hopefully it's not another vet appointment. So that's about it for this week. And we will see you next week. Don't forget to do the YouTube-y stuff. Like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. Put some comments down below. And we will see you next time.